welcome to another episode of the Upside Down Show. And I have Mr. Danish with me on the show, or aka DKtalks. So this is going to be a podcast. This is first ever collaboration with another creator. I have collaborated with another people, but they are not creators themselves. They are students or professionals in that particular field. But Mr. Danish himself is a creator. He creates content on Instagram, and that's how I discovered him. And we were in contact. So yeah, Danish, tell the viewers something about yourself, please.
First of all, thank you, Zoravar and Upside team for welcoming me. If I talk about myself, I have a full-time corporate job that I'm pursuing, and alongside that, recently started creating content on various social media platforms, primarily Instagram. And the vision behind it is just to kind of target masses and make them aware of certain social as well as technological and stuff, so that they can get updated and get educated on certain concepts and certain aspects that I have learned throughout my life journey. And just wanted to share that, also sharing my opinions on various issues that are rising and the current affairs and things like that. And also I host podcast shows on my channel, long road to cover, but yeah, things are going good currently.
So I wanted to ask that I saw one of your stories, like I think you did like kind of professionally set up podcast. So can you just share your experience regarding that?
So I think, Zoravar, this is an era of disruption in technology. So after COVID, we have seen that people have shifted from doing work from office and working from home setup itself. At home, we just need a table chair and a good internet connection and a high-speed laptop or a mobile phone, and we have all accommodated ourselves to this new regime of working, right? So I feel that today, if you want to raise your voice, you have first of all social media platforms where you have that access to share your thoughts, share your voice, and you find similar people with similar interests with you via the hashtags that you use. Then you don't even need to spend so much on creating a zone where you need to invite someone and then record a session or shoot with them, because shooting takes a hell lot of efforts as well as investment, because you need multiple cameras, and I've done that. That is something that I felt is good, but again, it takes lots of efforts and investment. I was fortunate enough that I could use facility of my friend who has already established that, and I need not to invest some anything to get those things done. But then eventually, if you want to contribute in that area, if you want to create videos, then it's a very difficult task. So what I did is I just utilized whatever resources I had at that moment. I had a laptop, I had a mobile phone, internet connection is there, I had a desk and chair already available at my place. So what I did is I just bought a light, I just bought a mic, and that was about it. Okay. I started doing a very random podcast with my friend itself. So I just called him up. I was like, okay, I'm planning to go live on Instagram today. I'll welcome you. I'll invite you as a guest, and I'll ask you some random questions about your career journey. What are the challenges that you face, things like that. And he's like, okay, I'll come up. And we randomly recorded that. It was a 30-minute session. It was a live session. We did a lot of mistakes in that session. We were asking random questions, and in fact, my friend was also not very comfortable answering those. That was a learning that, okay, next time when I'll be doing a podcast, I have to go well prepared. I have to outline my questions. I have to share it with the person well in advance, that he can come prepared for the answers too. And that's how the journey started. And then I started welcoming my college professors who are very upfront with their subject matter. They're experts in that. So I talked on those subjects. Then I also started welcoming my office colleagues, the colleagues that I've met during my college days, who are now very reputed. They're working very reputed firms. So my vision was कि यार normal लोगों को बुलाओ जो कि अपनी life में कुछ कर रहे हैं. They're putting some efforts. Let's learn something from them. Let's share my learning and let's learn from them, and let us make them public, so that everybody else in that circle can also learn. I just had 150 something followers at that time. So even if my friends, those 150 followers, even if 15 people are getting impacted via that 30 minutes conversation that I had, then I've done my bit. And that is something that have been my vision, and still focusing on that vision. I just mentioned that the road is it's a too long road to cover, and from 150 followers, we have grown to 1250 odd followers, and we are reaching somewhere around 10,000 to 15,000 accounts on a weekly basis via the reels and via the stories that we are sharing. So I think with minimal investment and minimal setup, you can at least start and keep on evolving as you are understanding the game, so that your money is not going for a toss. You are investing when you feel it is the right time, and you are not putting your hard-earned money on risk. So yeah, that is a platform that social media provides you, and it's a very good one if you use it in a positive manner. That's what I feel.
So my journey was a little bit different. Like I did over research and I overthink a lot. So I overthink about starting this as well. So what ended up happening was, one thing was very clear to me when I started, or I wanted to create how much should be the length of the content and what kind of things I need to do. When I started making videos, I had a bigger plan at the back, and or starting I wasn't ready to disclose that plan at all, because the plan wasn't finished. I knew that I wanted to connect with people. I knew that I had to do networking in the long run, meet intelligent people like you yourself, to learn from them. And then also, like, my also part was like what kind of content I will create, because as we all know, YouTube pe, there is just two genres which are like popular, which is education or entertainment. So entertainment wasn't my thing. I tried bit because of course you can't be boring as such. There is a thing called कि हमारा जो attention span है वो कम होता जा रहा है, ठीक है? It's even like smaller than the goldfish apparently. तभी आजकल reels बहुत चल रही हैं. So I had to work out, I had to strategize a lot. मैंने बड़ा कोशिश की. So overthinking में what I was like, or especially creating content for YouTube, because my content couldn't be consumed. पहले I was thinking when I started that now I am making reels and all. That's how I discovered you when I dove down ki under 60 seconds maybe you can convey your message. But before that I'm like, yeah, my thoughts are too complex. I am talking about really complex thoughts. I don't think so that I can give anything of value in under 60 seconds. So I had to make longer form content. So उसके लिए barrier of entry मुझे लगा बहुत था. So I came in with all the equipment and stuff, like light एक है, एक के बजाय चार लिए, mic भी 3-4 तरह के, portable mic और ये वो सारा कुछ. So I came in with that, but where I struggled was the consistency part, the motivation part. After certain time I'll do something, then what will happen is clicks नहीं आ रहे, views नहीं आ रहे, whatever, not growing. So I'll drop down the plan, I'll go passive on that. The only problem I suffered was the consistency and the motivation. So my following question to you would be that how do you keep the consistency and motivation going for however long you're making? Because I have seen that you are like consistent so far, but like since I've been following you, you've been consistently uploading. So how do you just keep your motivation to make content, and like what does actually making content like provides to you? Like aap kar kyun rahe ho?
That's a good question and a complicated one also. That what keeps you motivated and keeps you. One thing I'd say is that if this is the only thing that I would have been doing at present, then I definitely feel that I wouldn't have been continuing it, because currently this is a difficult spot to hit. Social media, getting viral on social media. We see that there are lots of people who are getting a lot of hits and a lot of popularity via these reels video, but the algorithm that Instagram works on, it is working in a too complicated fashion. Nobody right now is able to 100% debug the algorithm that Instagram is working on. So you just can't predict that even if you come up with a super quality content, you will get the amount of hits that you're working for. Because if you are creating super quality content, then you're investing also. You're investing on the video editing software as well. You're investing on the good cameras and that crew also that is supporting you, because akele you cannot make those good high quality videos. So it is very difficult to be 100% sure that whatever money you are putting, that won't go for a toss. So what keeps me motivated is that, first of all, I am not putting a lot of money, that there is a risk that even if that, there's a pressure in my mind that anyhow I have to make content. If I won't make content, then I'll be losing, X amount of money. So that pressure is not there on my mind. Second thing is, till the time I don't get the right topic to talk on, I don't create content. And why that is coming up is because I don't have that pressure of losing money, which I've invested, particularly on creating content. And since I'm not able to deliver it, I'm losing the money. So that pressure is not there. And then that creative hat is always on. Even if I'm, meeting Zoravar, and today, whatever discussion I'll be doing today, I will be reflecting back on it when I'll sit at night free and, just thinking about what I did the entire day. That reflection part, when it happens now, then, you start getting some hits of content that you can, present to the people as well. And, they can make them aware. And that keeps me motivated. I learned this new thing, and that is my duty today to share it with my followers. Just one more thing I wanted to share. My son has been a very big inspiration for me. So I feel that whatever I'm doing right now, when he'll be growing 10 years old, 12 years, when he'll be understanding what I'm doing, then he must also feel proud that my father has done X number of things alongside his regular job and regular bread butter earnings. And yeah, if he feels proud after, a number of years that he grows, then I feel that I have achieved something in my life. So that is another motivation for me.
You do this for hobby, but at certain stage you want to go a little bit bigger, right? So what in terms of marketing tactics you do for your channel, or how do you network? So is there any tips like what you do, or is there any tips for me that I can follow in my sort of space?
So I think I'm still figuring out what's my mojo. Like what is the particular area that I want to cater? That's something that I'm still under the lookout for. Now, what I felt is, and I've been following, I mean, not following, but I've been, analyzing the, short videos as well as long videos created by, multiple famous personalities there in the market already, and trying to understand what is that particular thing that is keeping me hooked up to this video. I, being a millennial, if I am getting hooked to some video for like good number of time, if it's a 20-minute video and I'm watching it for like 15 odd minutes, then that's definitely something that person is presenting that is keeping me hooked up. That is something that person is presenting me which is of my area of interest. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been, looking to that video for sure. Because right now, if you see, if it's a so-so video or you're losing interest in that video, you won't even be hooked up for like 30-40 odd seconds if I talk about a YouTube video. So that is something that, I am figuring out. If you would have also seen, my videos, and I have been observing people, how they are creating their content and what is that particular thing that, keeping other people also, making them promptly here to the entire thing. So right now I have moved myself more towards the educative videos, making people understand about a topic in 30 odd seconds. It's like a short dose of something new that is fed today. And I've seen that hookup time has increased many folds as it was before. So first of all, right now I'm not using any marketing tactics per se. I am making, all efforts to improve my content, because that is something that eventually will speak for me. And I've also started tagging several accounts, several verified accounts, as well as some popular accounts that are, catering to that same area of, content. So basically, if they know that someone called DKtalks is creating, content which is similar to their area of interest, probably at some point they'll also collaborate with me. And if they are collaborating with me for a particular set of content, then definitely I am diversifying myself in terms of followers, because their followers will also be able to look me up via that search engine optimization thing. Working on the content, collaborating with the right people, tagging the right people, using the right hashtags. I think that is the core. And if you have some money, if you have some capital to invest, then work on investing in your stories. You can just put some money, highlight one of your stories, whatever you want to convey to your users, or what to the people out there. What is that content that you are offering? You can just post that in your story. You can promote that story, and definitely you'll get a lot of views on your profile as well as your videos too. So that's something I have been doing. Still learning through the journey, but I'd say content is the key. If it is good, then that will speak for you. That will market for you.
Yeah. So with me, like the main problem aa rahi thi, as I said before, was like the consistency part, because the nature of what I do is pretty much speak on political events, speak on current events. So what happens is, if I am not like quick enough to do it, if I'm not quick enough to do it, so kya hota hai, by in 24 hours that thing gets irrelevant, and there is something new, some new breaking news that happens. So you can't really keep up, and it's like pretty much practicing to speak, and sometimes it's not easy. Like for me, I find it a little bit hard, like talking to just by me, just looking at a camera in a viewfinder, you see yourself. Like sometimes I can't do that. Like I'm not that confident still. So these are like struggles that I got.
But what I felt is, news might get old, but your opinions will not get old. So if you are presenting, let's say you are talking about what right now, racism in Europe has been a prominent thing that have recently come up via this war that has came up, and people from Europe that have been talking about that people with blonde hair and blue eyes are getting brutally harassed in Ukraine, and people who are white in color, they are getting brutally harassed. Now, what about the people with brown skin? What about the people with black skin? Do they don't have the right to exist there? Do they don't have the right to study? Or what about people in Afghanistan? What about people in Syria? On humanitarian grounds, do they don't even have the right to exist because they are not blonde, or they are not white in color, or they don't have blue eyes? I am talking about right here about this. This is also old news. But people, the ones that who don't read news very oftenly, they don't hear about such issues, because mainstream media is not covering these things. This is there, but mainstream media will be covering about, okay, China ne ye bol diya Russia ko, and Russia ab ye kar raha hai, he's getting aggressive, and Ukraine is suffering, things like that, the masala stuff. But these important topics like these, mainstream media is not covering. In fact, the international media is also not giving so much consideration to this pain point, because that is something that has come from them only, no? And if you're talking about such issues, this has also come out of some news channel only, no? I am not there in Ukraine. I also heard about it from various certain media platforms itself. But if I am covering such topics, and I'm providing my opinion also there, or I'm asking my viewers to share their opinions there on the comment section, that is keeping them hooked up. And things like this, news like this will come on a daily basis. Let's say we can cover Indian politics, we can cover international politics, we can cover issues which are there in Taiwan right now. We can come up with the mindset that China is evolving with, or the Russian mindset right now. People of Russia also wants to think what other people think about them right now. They are sitting in Russia, they are also struggling with the economics right now because of the sanctions that have been imposed on them. They're also struggling equally. It is not like they're enjoying and partying. They're also struggling equally. And they also want to know what is the opinion that the world is drawing out of Russia, because they are also equally struggling, even if they are war leaders right now. I'd say the podium is too huge. 1.25 billion people are sitting in India itself, right? And out of those 1.25 billion, what is the amount that sees news channels? It's not even 10 million. What about the remaining 1.10 million? Those are your viewers, and they want that news to come up. They want that opinion of ours to come up. They want us to become their voice. Then I'd say that viewership is there.
Since we are on this Ukraine and Russia matter, so let's talk about a little bit, whatever time we have left, on the politics of Ukraine. I think you yourself have covered the Ukraine and Russia crisis, and you have made a couple of videos about it yourself, and we spoke about the sanctions. So I want to know, what's your opinion on India abstaining at the UN Security Council meeting, and what do you think? Is there a possibility of WW3 happening? What do you think?
See, it is still very early to comment on World War III. because things are still cooking up. But what I'd say is India abstraining, even if I'm not the right political analyst to comment on it, but I can surely say India still abstraining shows its power today. If on multiple platforms, world powers like Europe, USA, if they are pushing a nation like India to speak for them, and India is still abstraining, because India is showing that we are not with our friend, but we can also not turn our backs when my friend is needing me. That's what India is today showing. 2 days back in the Quad meeting, when the agenda for the meeting was to discuss the issues in the Indo-Pacific region, US deliberately brought about the issues of Russia and Ukraine war just to kind of push India to comment that Russia is showing brutality. But reiterating the whole conversation, the Indian diplomats drew attention of all the nations at that Quad meeting. That was a really important meeting that was called in an emergency. They told, if we talk about the Indo-Pacific region, we should focus that the issues like Russia, Ukraine does not arise in Indo-Pacific region, because right now, Taiwan, if we talk about Japan, if we talk about, they are also facing equal threats. So what if a situation like Russia comes to Indo-Pacific region? India was very right at that point, and India is abstraining because US has been abstraining a lot. Right now also they are abstraining themselves to deploy their armies in the Ukraine area to protect them. They are just sitting at the sidelines. They are putting their sanctions, saying that okay, Russia will be hit hard and they'll evacuate. But have they evacuated? I don't see them evacuating right now. So why is it always India that has to take a stance by the pressure of the international forums? Why not those international forums not compromising? US have always thought about what is right for them. If they want to abstain, they'll abstain. If they want to contribute, they will contribute. Why is it always India that cannot show that I'm not liking this situation? And if they are doing it today, that shows that India is a world power today.
Yeah, India's got.
You would hear that world media, they have been talking that US will implement sanctions on India under the CARDS Act when if they still abstain themselves, if they still don't talk about Russia. But have they implemented the sanctions? No. This again shows that India is a world power today, that everybody, it's a country that everybody look forward to. It's a country that no one wants to mess around. And I am with the Indian government on this motion. If they would have voted yes, then definitely it would have been a very bad position. But they are not saying yes, they are not saying no. And multiple times they have said that Russia should not use war. They should take the route of peace. That shows our stance. That shows our stance.
So with this happening, okay, so World War III, potentially, as we said, like NATO or / America, their forces have not been on the ground in Ukraine. I think that's the pretty much only thing I believe that's stopping WW3 from happening. But still, I don't think so that will happen. But seeing the situation, and recently the news pretty much like just before we started, it came that Russia has announced the ceasefire in Kiev, and there is like ceasefire so that people can go, people can leave. So this still happening, but the damage has been done to the economy worldwide, to Ukraine itself and Russia's economy. But the thing is, I always say this thing: can you stop a man that's gone rogue already? He knows if he pulls out, it's lose-lose. What's stopping him to just go nuts with nuclear? What do you think the angle of nuclear is being introduced and Russia threatening world to use nukes?
First of all, I believe highly unlikely that uranium grade explosives will be used. I don't think. That is what I feel. Second thing is, I feel that nuclear explosives today have been kept by countries just to kind of threaten people, threaten countries that, okay, we are nuclear power and we will launch that. Right now it is happening. And also in the coming days of war, multiple times we'll hear that Russia here and there will hint about nuclear fight because they want to threaten and push Ukraine, they accept their loss or whatever. They surrender. So I think those conversations will happen. They're still happening and will happen in the future as well. But highly unlikely we'll see a nuclear bomb getting exploded on Ukraine, because, if that happens, then it's not Ukraine that is getting finished, because Ukraine still not, it was a good progressive country. It was economically also doing very well, but it is nowhere there if we talk about Russia, if we compare it with Russia. If nuclear war is happening, Russia will be finished for another 20-30 years. Right now, Russia is already getting finished out of the sanctions that have been implemented on them. People are losing jobs. There's no money flow. They cannot do international transactions after the SWIFT transaction sanction. They can fight. They can keep on fighting. But again, the result would be the common man getting suffered, Putin getting out of the power, and Russia taking a massive hit. Right now, Russia is sitting on the currency value have decreased almost 50%. What if it goes down to 100%? It is still a pathetic situation. It will be too brutal a situation. It will be a hyperinflation situation in Russia, and it will be a Cold War situation in Russia itself. Which is still cooking up.
We're gonna see the effects later on. So I think with this we should conclude today's episode, today's session. And it was very nice speaking to you, Danish. I hope our viewers would enjoy Danish today. And I hope whoever's watching this video, go subscribe, like, follow him on his social media. DKtalks on Instagram. He has all the credentials and initials in his bio. So go show him your love. And yeah.
No, thank you so much for inviting, Zaravar. We'll keep on having these conversations, and I'd highly recommend that everybody go to your channel. It's very interesting, and your views are very intriguing, and I look forward to that. And probably sometime let's do some live session as well for the viewers, and we can talk about some good topic there.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, with this closingly, I also want to say viewers and Danish, sorry, we were not that structured. I have felt बीच में, but I think it was a good starter conversation just to know हमने कल थोड़ी देर फोन पे बात की, and I think this से थोड़े बहुत और हम close आए हैं, and in future we'll try to be structured for our viewers. हम तो बातें कर सकते हैं, ठीक है ना, as a friends, but for our viewers to just to keep everything in check, we'll have a time and everything structured, we'll have topics in place. So इसी के साथ guys, take care of the channel, you know the drill, like, share, subscribe, and तब तक के लिए bye, see ya.